6,
7,
8,
9,
10.
Yes,
Hey, girl, hey.
Hi.
Welcome to another episode.
Why would we start and then the first thing you do is I said everybody's supposed to say that I pick with you. Before we started recording, I said try not to touch your computer.
You were too loud in my headphones, dog. You're too loud in my headphones, and I just realized it.
I was like, I was editing the Patreon. It was like, we have, and it's not just you, it's me too. I was like, we have to leave these computers alone. But soon enough, we're gonna have these mics
We don't have
feed in.
any. We need somebody else to do it.
I know, be in the background. How are you doing?
How am I doing? That's a great question. I'm an older person, and I feel it deeply in my body, and it's not true. It really isn't true. But after I had that injury, I haven't gone back to the gym.
Oh no!
And I'm slowly becoming
Sit up. You look crazy.
That's what I feel like. I wake up and my body aches, and I'm like, oh, I can't open my legs, girl.
Oh, honey.
I know. It's
what
bad
does that mean?
over here. I'm down bad, and God does not want anything good for me.
No, but that's not true. Can I ask you a question? What do you mean by you can't open your legs?
It's tender in my groin area.
Is that from the injury?
It's from the injury. Yes, I believe so. I don't know. I just have these aches and pains, and I'm just like...
I think you should do yoga.
Yeah, but I was on that a while ago. Remember when I was on my yoga kick with my Melbourne? And now I want to be running at 7.5, listen to Kanye, and I can't.
You can't. Not right away. Because here's the thing, you were working out so much that you have to stretch your muscles. You have to recover. So I think especially while you're not feeling your best right now, yoga, especially hot yoga, would be really ideal for you right now. I want that for you.
I want it for myself too, because it's it's fucking with me mentally a little bit.
Like, can we take a class the next time I come home?
I would love to take a class.
Hot yoga though.
And there's no excuse. I should be taking my classes where I go. Like, there's no actual excuse except for me in my head. Like,
you're injured. What do you mean? There's no excuse.
Why won't it heal more quickly?
Because we're older and you're not doing anything to make it heal quickly. Are you icing it?
Well, that was another thing. I celebrated a birthday. Was the real thing. I celebrated a friend's birthday party and we danced. And the next day, couldn't get out of bed. I didn't even drink a lot, Antoinette. I was exhausted. And I was like, what is this?
37.
On another note, I feel really inspired in many ways. People have been asking me to help them style things. And so I'll be like, sure, I'll help you do stuff. And sitting and talking with folks, recently went to a friend's house and just looked at her closet. And I'm realizing, I knew it, but I feel like it's such rich conversation around aesthetics and styling ourselves and what the spiritual practice of it, behind it, just the depth of conversation and discussion around looking good and feeling good, and everybody's different interpretations of that and hang-ups. I mean, there's like this unifying there's the unifying thing of like, you know, there's a beauty standard that everybody feels crushed by, but then there's all these really individual little beautiful nuggets and stories that I'm feeling really inspired by and I can't shake. And I'm just so interested in everybody's interpretation of this. So TBT, TBC, to be continued, but it feels like I feel like a dog with a bone right now, just like inspirationally and artistically, and I'm like, what is this? What's happening? So that's what's happening.
You could do set styling. You could do product styling. It's a lot of money in that, Sheila.
I'm not interested in that as much as the people.
Fuck the people. Sorry, I'm sorry. If you style, so you're styling other people, but you have yet to help me.
You resist me for whatever reason.
No, I don't. I
do.
tried to buy. I bought the thing that you told me to buy. It was a mess. You have to do your research. It was horrible.
Because it was bad quality. We needed the Nike, but that silhouette could have been everything.
So I do listen.
You do. You do. And you do ask me questions. I don't feel like I'm a stylist, and I don't know if that's what I'm interested versus, like, I have so many questions for you. Like, what's the outfit that you feel good in? What is the outfit that you're like, oh, and I want to know what that feeling good is. Do you feel sexy? Do you feel hidden? Do you feel exposed? Do you feel comfortable? There's just all these like nuggets that would help me understand you more and what your idea of looking good is, that I just am like, oh, that's so juicy.
Besides, like, outfit was my PVO outfit the first time you and I went. That purple, that set.
That rouging, you like a rouge. That you were very.
I also.
What did you feel like in that?
I felt sexy, but I also felt sophisticated and regal. I like to feel sexy and regal. I also loved my Afro punk look from when I had the big bun thing. I love that silhouette, that like sweetheart. You don't remember the big bun?
I remember, and yes, you have like this avant-garde, very, very, bold thing to you too. I hide most times, and then when I come out, regular
I come
style.
Out.
Yeah, interesting.
It's like playing dress up. I don't know. Anyway,
how are you?
I'm down. I was down.
Get back up.
We fall down, but we get up. Just talking to you is helping. I have not talked to you. I've avoided talking to you.
I know. I've been like, let me give her space because I understand how the dysfunction is, our trauma.
Yeah, you have to. Anyway, you have to hide sometimes in order to like understand what the hell's going on in your head. But I was home this weekend. I was home. First of all, last week was a lot. I think we talked about that. Last week was just like a lot of back and forth. I was in Philly twice, and I came home for my stepsister's funeral. God rest her soul. The funeral was okay. I did well. Whatever that means. But like, I was supportive to my stepmom, my dad, and like her family, and just trying to steer the ship in many ways over there. And I've talked to my stepmother quite a few times since. And just like being encouraging with her and getting closer with her family, who I really fuck with. But something happened. It's not an event. It's an ongoing thing that my family is dealing with that is very hard. And I sometimes deal with it and I sometimes don't. Sometimes I put it away and I'm like, actually too much. And it all just hit me, I think, after one, my mom is such a classy lady. My mom came to the funeral. She does not have a relationship with my stepmother, but she was like mother to mother. There's no way. Like, I've met this woman. I never met her daughter, but I want to support, and we're a family. And I thought that was just so beautiful. So shout out to Rude Jude. She was still a little bit rude, but only to me.
She was not.
And that's what counts.
No, she wasn't.
No, she was. No, yes, she was. She was mad at me because I was using her bathroom. But yeah, she noticed some things, and it was just hard. I left. I was driving home. I came home the same night, and I hadn't eaten. and I pulled over at some place that my poor mother thinks is like absolutely delicious, Honey Grow. She's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's so good. You got to check it out. I'm like, girl, what? It was all right. And I pulled into the Honey Grow and just, when I say wept, like convulsed, snotty nose crying, dry heaving, couldn't catch my breath. And for a second, I thought I wasn't going to go home. It's like, you know what? Why don't you stay? You had come to the funeral. I didn't want to bother you. And so I called Amanda, and Amanda is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda was out. You know, Amanda, stay out. And
Because I
Amanda
texted
answers,
her. I wanted to meet up with her that night. And she was like,
really?
I just got off the phone with Antoinette.
I called her and she goes, oh, okay. And she gets up from wherever she's at, walks outside, and she goes, I'm so sorry. I'm so like, and I'm, and I couldn't even like say any words. And that's all. I'm sorry. Take your time. And Amanda can relate to some of what I'm going through based off of her own experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was comforting to just talk to her. She also knew, like, she's also aware of like, it's hard to talk around this. She's just also aware of what things used to be versus what they are now. She has a lot of insight into that. And so she really helped me through that. And I gathered myself and was like, okay. And I came on home, and then I came home to just like rain. It was just raining all week. It was dreary. I know I may or may not be dating somebody, but if I was like distant from that person for no reason, just like trying to gather myself. And I was struggling to do that. And then I just was like, let me be like Shanti. I'm going to disassociate. And that is exactly
That is not.
That's
bad.
I'm in the void. I am full blown disassociating. None of this is real. And you know what I did? I have been binge watching, listening, losing sleep, watching Fear of the Walking Dead. It's horrible.
The new series.
No, Fear of the Walking Dead is not new. It is
another spinoff. Oh god.
So I've been on this spinoff. I've said that it's bad, and it is. It's horrible. One of my favorite characters, though, from The Walking Dead comes back on there, and I'm very happy about that. He is the only thing holding it together for me. Deeply invested in him. But I was like, I feel like the world is crumbling. I've been paying attention to politics. We're going to get into that. And I was just like, why not watch a show about the world literally falling apart and people figuring out how to carry on?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I've been doing. I've watched about a season and a half. It's playing during work.
Mm-hmm.
It's playing when I'm in the tub. It's playing when I'm making my food. I also am preparing for a birthday of somebody that I care quite a bit about. So I've been trying to figure things out over here, been in the kitchen making chaos, but I'm going to figure it out. So it's just been that kind of week of like, all right, I'm going to allow myself to fall apart a little bit. I did work out twice, so that was good. I plan on doing it again tomorrow, but something else is really upsetting me. I don't know if I should play it, but I am. I've been paying attention. We're going to get into politics. I've been paying a lot of attention to the political climate. And it's becoming so hard to stay positive when I see the type of people that the people in this country support. And have you heard of Mark Robinson?
No.
Okay. Mark Robinson just won the gubernatorial primary, Republican primary in North Carolina. Mark Robinson is a Black man, probably, I want to say like 50, maybe late 40s. I'm just going to play a clip for you, if that's okay. Is that okay?
Okay, yeah.
All right. Let me play a clip for you to give you a little example of what we're dealing with here.
Ridiculous glory, and then we will talk about it.
There's some people that were talking about reparations in this country. They wanted reparations.
And I remember I made this particular liberal so angry at me because I told them right to their face, nobody owes you anything for slavery. If you want to tell the truth about it, it is you who owes. It's you who owes.
Whoa.
Why do you owe? Because somebody in those fields took stripes for you. Somebody after those fields were ended and slavery was ended, somebody had to walk through Jim Crow for you. Somebody fought wars and died for you. Somebody lived less than because they didn't have what you have, and they did it for you. There are people in their graves right now, and they are there because they were willing to stand up and fight for you. Those folks on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, carrying American flags, take that, Colin Kaepernick, living in a society that he could scarcely acknowledge, something that he has never known, living with a bigotry that none of us can imagine.
Right.
Carried American flags on that bridge. And when they were hit upside the head with nightsticks and shot with water hoses and knocked to the ground, they got up and picked those flags up and kept marching.
All right.
Whoa!
This is the state of North Carolina. This is who they selected. The Republican Party said, yes, you should lead us.
Perfect.
Well, I'm sorry?
A perfect candidate, I think, for the Republican Party. That absolutely.
Oh, yeah, it tracks.
Just...
A couple things I just want to say about this. This is really dangerous. We can play it and be like, oh, this guy crazy. But he's coming into power in a different kind of way. And this is not the only scary thing. And I need to debunk a couple things as well. So to be very clear, one, that's like we're saying that this is a perfect candidate for the Republican Party because it furthers their agenda and their respectability politics and how we should all be grateful that we're here, right? Got it. But reparations, to be very clear, is not about that. Okay. The commission formed through legislation signed in 2023. That is, they're studying reparations. And basically, reparations is how much money and wealth did this country steal from Black folks who were enslaved. It's not we should pay them because they're sad that their ancestors were slaves, right? It's we actually stole wealth, stole time, stole footing from them, land, like we stole from them. So how much would it take for them to be on a level playing field within the American economy? Yeah. That is what that study is. It is not, you got hit in the head with a nightstick. I'm sorry. Now you're suing us and we're going to just quiet you down with a civil case and we're going to just like settle. That's not what that is. So I just want to be really clear about that. I also want to be really clear that this guy wants to abolish abortion. Okay. He believes that COVID-19 was created only to take down Donald Trump's presidency. He's criticized efforts to teach the LGBTQ, to teach any kind of class around that, around issues in sex education. He refers to transgender and homosexual folks as filth. He's also said that people who are gay are equivalent to what the crows leave behind, as well as maggots and fleas. I have another thing that I'd like to play. Okay, because this is the seriousness, and I'm going to be on my bullshit this episode, so just bear with me. But we need to get serious because we can laugh ourselves all the way into Handmaid's Tale. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm going to pull it up.
What America are we going back to make America great again? The one where women couldn't vote or Black people were swinging from trees? I would say to him if I was standing in front of him, I absolutely want to go back to the America where women couldn't vote. You know why? Because in those days, we had people who fought for real social change, and they were called Republicans.
What? Did you hear that? This is who an entire state, the Republican Party for this state voted and said, this is our guy. This is how serious it is. So while we can sit, this is what I'm always talking about. While we can sit and we're not, again, we do not like our choices. They're not good choices. They also should not be hard choices. Last point is that in endorsing Mark Robinson for governor, Trump called him Martin Luther King on steroids.
Mm-hmm.
Trump also said, I actually think you're better than Martin Luther King, and I think you're Martin Luther King times 2. So this is why I'm escaping, disassociating, and watching Fear of the Walking Dead, because I take this shit too seriously, and I don't know how many of us do. And we'll get into Super Tuesday and those results, but scary times over here for a lot of us. And it's having an effect on my mental health. I'm terrified. I'm fucking terrified. And this isn't a George Santos who's, stealing money and going to Prada. This is somebody who wants to push legislation that could abolish our reproductive rights. He wants women not to be able to vote anymore. I mean, this isn't funny.
No.
And he's backed by the most powerful man in the Republican Party right now, which is Donald Trump. So again, when I'm talking about I'm not voting for Joe Biden, I'm voting for Joe Biden's cabinet and all of the people that he will endorse and all of the judges he will appoint and the agenda. The imperfect agenda, yes, but it's not this. And so that's we need to stop, because this ain't even politics, but that's my fucking update, because I don't know how else to feel. I feel defeated for the first time, but whatever. Please rate, subscribe, and comment on Around the Way Curls. I'm going to try to pick it up, y'all, I promise, but this is where I'm at. I'm going to stay true to my sad soul in this moment. Also, if you want to see us, our Patreon is growing. That makes me so happy, because we're about to embark on other endeavors that I'm very excited about. But if you want to see our faces, if you want to see Shanti's very interesting, beautiful crocheted knit
this is the hat that Jazz got me. We're twins.
Is it? Mm-hmm. It looks like something that you two would wear, if I'm being completely honest. So very nice. If you want to see me, I just clip my ends by myself, even though I'm taking a road trip to Canada to get my hair cut. Yeah, I couldn't take these ends anymore.
But her hair is straight and long and luxurious, y'all. Okay.
Oh, you see it? Oh my God. It is so thin though. That lady gonna be like, actually, you should just relax your hair and wear it straight. I'm like, you know what? I think you're right.
You needed some clip-ins. You and me need to do some research and add some clip-ins. The way I want clip-ins this summer.
I have clip-ins.
Well, I don't know why you're not wearing them.
I never wear them.
Well,
my hair's not that color anymore. Anyway, I'd have to dye them. I never wear them. Tina wore them for her wedding. But anyway, join us on Patreon. It's tiered, and you can go online to see the tiers, or my actual tiers as well, maybe. But shout out to the new patrons. We have you do it, because I mess up everybody's name.
Shout out to the new patrons: Chef Brandon, Kiara, Sonia, Alicia, Denise with 2 S's, you fancy, and Ra. We appreciate you guys. Hope to say your name out loud on the next. Say your name out loud on the next episode as a supporting patron. Do we go?
Let's take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will you sing?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Okay. Sorry, was that too much?
That was very important.
This shit gets serious.
Should we just leave here? Like, these are serious questions that...
Where are we going to go?
Dog.
Where are we going to go?
I don't know.
What we need to do is maybe not be a union. But then that fucks up our military. Maybe we just be separate states the way the Republicans want.
I don't think there's enough. It's not very equal.
No, it's not equal, and the federal government handles so much, and also the military. We would crumble there, but there's no place to go. What, Sweden? Cold as shit.
That I won't care. I don't care. I will handle the cold. Find me a nice white, blonde, blue-eyed bae.
I know that's right. You would.
Because that's what the fuck what's her name did.
Who?
Maya.
Oh, Maya got her ass. She is in Sweden, and she did find a Swedish man to love her.
Yeah. To love her.
Bay is not moving to Sweden. He'd be like, girl, what?
Well, I ain't got nothing to hang me up. Stop me from fucking around and finding out.
It's really, when I tell you how I've been legitimately depressed over this shit, over my own family shit, but over this shit too. Anyway, let's get back. It's already 9 o'clock. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Hot shit. I would like to say Happy Women's History Month.
Wait,
That's
stop.
some hot shit. Uh-oh.
I would like to say happy motherfucking birthday to Monty, okay? Monty, today is your birthday. It's Monday. And you came on the podcast. People really enjoyed you. What you do is worthwhile to us and to the communities that you show up in. Happy birthday, my Pisces king. And we wish you the best and I'm forever grateful for you. So, bow, bow, bow.
Oh, I shouldn't say my next thing then. Happy birthday, Monty. I'm very grateful for you. There's no way to segue into this, but Happy Women's History Month. And
Look, Monty,
I was
love the
going
ladies.
to dedicate.
What you talking about?
Well, I was going to dedicate it to the 9,000 women that have been reportedly killed in Gaza, and the 50,000 women that are currently pregnant in Gaza, probably holding on for dear life. So, I think, we can't lose sight of that. We can't lose sight of the fact that that is happening. But, everywhere in the world, there's duality. Monty's birthday is holding two things at once. We have a birthday of someone who we love dearly, and then we have folks who are suffering, and that is the way of the world.
Samsara Dara.
There you go. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. You better be the pick me up on this episode, girl.
Bring us down.
Bring us down.
Oh my God. The Vince Staples Show is on Netflix. Vince Staples is a West Coast rapper. I like his music. I listen to it. I often see his clips and interviews on the interwebs claiming him as a very funny, clever person. And so he has all this hype.
Tyler?
Yeah, similar kind of energy as a Tyler, just really irreverent, really witty, smart, dry, black boy that has good taste. And so his show, The Vince Staples Show, is about kind of famous and sort of rich rapper actor. Vince Staples navigates the challenges of everyday life in his hometown of the beach. It is produced by Kenya Barris, who I feel I have the same response to Kenya Barris as I do as Tyler Perry for whatever reason. There's just like this unnecessary resistance,
Is it unnecessary?
I don't know.
You would be cast in every one of his movies, though, girl. I don't know. You don't look biracial enough.
I don't look biracial enough. I'm not light skinned enough. But
Tricky.
I watched the first episode and the style of it. I just learned a new word. I'm gonna share it with y'all. I might not actually be pronouncing this correctly, but here we go. It has an autorist style, which is basically the lead character also directs and writes it, similar to like Curb Your Enthusiasm or Atlanta. And it's shot very beautifully. I will say that the first episode, I was not invested. I didn't really laugh in it at all. But it got a lot of good reviews, so maybe I just need to stick with it. And I want to support this brother, so I'm curious as to what other people thought about it. But what was really inspiring for me I read some interviews with Vince. With Vince talking about the show, and he, you're looking at this shot, it's really beautiful, and I'm coming to realize in order to make something beautiful, lots of artists have to consume a lot of art. You have to be constantly researching in a way, listening to music, watching things, reading things, going to gallery. You have to be ravenous in a way to find what you like and then put your interpretive spin on it. And I was like, I don't know why. Of course, that's for most folks common sense, but for me, that really, really clicked. And I was like, oh, and I connected it to the artist way as well, because you have to have a date every week as well, and how important that is. So shout out to him and all the research that he did and what he's doing now. I'm going to give it another try, but I'm curious as to what y'all think about it. And then Kid Fury, everybody's favorite Sag. You know he's a Sagittarius? I didn't know that. Everybody's favorite Sag. He's going on tour. Life is Better is the name of the tour.
It's a stand-up.
It's stand-up comedy. He's 10 locations. He's in Philly for 2 days. Of all of the locations, Philly gets 2 days over New York, the West Coast, San Francisco, but he'll be in New York, Atlanta, Boston, Washington, and San Francisco. And I really do want to go. I'm going to buy a ticket. And you can buy tickets too at lifeisbettertour.com.
This is not an ad. I love this,
ad,
Shanti.
but like I listened to the episode. I think he's just a charming,
brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant, but like you just adore him in a way. It's just kind of like you just adore him. So I wanna watch him do his thing. So
yeah, he's easy to root for and love.
Yeah, I have this in because I think this
What's
is very
happening
important.
at your house?
Just people at the gate.
Oh, are they okay? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it sounded like somebody was struggling. Are they okay?
Philly's
okay.
A war zone. I don't know if you've seen.
Don't say that.
It really is. There's a lot of shit happening. So.
I saw the stuff at the news on the boulevard and SEPTA and
kids, children,
kids. I know,
and old people. The most vulnerable.
I know. 70-something-year-old got shot in the head. 88. My God.
Okay, keep it positive. I think we should.
I have one more hot thing.
No, I have that in the pop culture because I think it's very important. It's
I was wondering
it's
why
just
you
more.
Moved it.
Yeah, it's more
I was
than
like, where is it?
A touch.
Okay. All right. Well, I thought we were going to go into it when it finally came out. All right. Politics as usual. Wow. Shanti put this on here and I love this. Then she was like, I don't really know how to get into this joint. I said, say less. Super Tuesday happened. And I realized that Super Tuesday, like, what is Super Tuesday? So let's get into Super Tuesday. It's goofy. It's really not that much. But Super Tuesday is the biggest day nationwide for primary elections and caucuses. So first, I want to be clear, what is a primary election and what is a caucus? So in order to get to the presidential election, each party has to choose its nominee. To get there, each state holds a primary vote or a caucus. So the first caucus is traditionally in Iowa. And each county in Iowa, like citizens will gather in a public space. They will debate issues. They'll go over their concerns. And it's all public. So you're literally in a room like, Biden, or I'm hitting the mic, sorry, or, Bernie, Elizabeth Warren, like, and arguing over who's what.
All of the states go to the Iowa caucus, so the Pennsylvania will be there?
No, only Iowa. It's Iowa's caucus. So it's like it's just and it's not one caucus. So there's multiple caucuses. There's multiple meetings, right, within the state. So like there's districts. The same way you go to a vote, it's as if you went to your voting place and instead of voting behind like a little, screen or whatever, where you have privacy and it's like nobody knows your vote, everybody's quiet. You go and you argue with people, or you chant your person's name.
Sounds
it's
Civil War.
A lot of people don't like caucuses because caucuses feel a little performative.
Caucus.
They're hard to manage. I hate the name.
Raise
but
a
they're
caucus.
also.
Is that what is that word?
I have no idea.
Raising a caucus. Is that the word? Caucus?
Is it ruckus? I thought that's what you meant. I was like, please don't say
a ruckus.
Okay, ruckus.
Raising a caucus. I just put a spin on that. I'm a marketing genius.
Can you put that's the name of the episode? Raising a caucus. We don't give a fuck about the SEM. We will not ever put I try to find keywords for our titles to get them juicy, but fuck it. Raising a caucus it is. Anyway, so where was I at? You confused
I apologize.
me. So anyway,
Iowa, they're wilding.
Right, Iowa. So you can actually even change your vote. Like you can hear somebody's argument and say, oh, that's a good argument. I'm actually going to go over with this person now. So it can go on and on for quite some time. This is a very simplified version of what a caucus is. And a primary vote or a primary election with the first one of them is in New Hampshire. And that is similar to a more traditional vote that you and I are used to because we were in Philly and New York. And citizens come, they cast their ballots at a voting center, they go home. Votes are counted. Within the districts, they figure out, okay, who has the most votes? Cool. All right. Now, the thing that you wrote on here where you're like, what the hell is a delegate? Right? Delegates are complicated, and that's its own episode, and I'm not even going to try to do it. But basically, so let's say that let's keep talking about Iowa, for instance. Iowa's going to have a certain amount of delegates, and these delegates are people who actually go to the Republican National Convention, and they vote for the actual nominee. They actually say, we want Donald Trump. And so, sorry, that was fucked up, but that's what they say. And that they are basically supposed to reflect the wishes of the people from the caucus.
From the caucus?
Right. It's just pomp and circumstance, or the primary election. It's like we the people when we vote for a president, right? The president's not the president just after the election. The representatives then have to go in and vote, and they all vote reflecting what the people have voted, and then it's officially that he's the president. You know how that takes some time? Mm-hmm. That's all that is, okay? But you get a certain amount of delegates based off of population, based off and how many votes you get. So right now, there isn't anyone really running against Joe Biden on the main stage. So we're focused on the Republican Party because there were multiple candidates. It was kind of like Trump, Nikki Haley, who's going to get? Now, Nikki Haley did get some delegates, but not enough at all to go to the convention. Even if all the delegates that she got in these primaries and caucuses, that was never going to be enough to beat Trump. So Nikki Haley dropped out of the race. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And basically Super Tuesday came to be because people were so frustrated by the fact that Iowa and New Hampshire go so early that they felt like Iowa and New Hampshire had way too much what is the word that I'm looking for? Thank you. They have way too much influence on the presidential election. It was like, well, why does Iowa and New Hampshire get to have all this influence? Fuck that. Super Tuesday, mad states, 16 states vote. I don't know why we don't just all do it at the same time. I guess they need to have these feelers and have that be able to inform how candidates are then going to switch up their messaging or hear the people and give them an opportunity to adjust as the elections go on. So that's why Iowa, New Hampshire, and these states within Super Tuesday are always so important. Because if you don't do well on those 18 states, then most likely you're going to drop out of the race. Right. And then people like us based off of where we live, Pennsylvania, New York, we vote later, and so we have less choices, less options as a result. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that was like for dummies. It's not super detailed, but that's what it is. What I want to get into, though, we've already said Nikki Haley dropped out based off of how she performed on Super Tuesday, or didn't perform. There is a growing uncommitted vote. And so uncommitted is really, I really want to talk about Detroit, or Michigan rather, not Detroit, where I think is it Rashida Tlaib? Hold on, Rashida. Monty, take this out. Yes. So in Michigan, Rashida Tlaib she's a U.S. representative for Michigan. She is a Muslim American, and she's been very outspoken about.
Is she Palestinian?
I don't believe that she's Palestinian, no. But she's been very outspoken about what's happening in Gaza. And so within 2 weeks, basically, it was like 3 weeks, she was able to rally over 100,000 people within Michigan to vote uncommitted, to not vote Democrat and vote for Biden. And this was a way to signal to Biden, listen, you won this state. He only won the state by 150,000 votes. And this was us organizing in 3 weeks. If you don't get your shit together, you could fuck around and lose. Like that's basically what this protest vote was. A lot of people are very upset by this protest vote because he lost delegates. So therefore he has less chances of people he has less people that are going to come and say Joe Biden. He can still win them back over, but he lost delegates. And then there's other people on the other end saying, listen, a primary vote is where you do a protest vote. You don't do a protest vote in the big presidential election or the big election, but this is where you signal to the people in charge what you want and what you don't want. And so it's interesting how
the protest vote isn't done during the primary vote. It's done during this.
No, this is the primary. That was the primary vote.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm saying is this is where you're voting for the actual candidate. Mm-hmm. Once we have two candidates, it's looking like it's going to be Trump, Biden, and we actually vote in the presidential election. You don't want to do a protest vote because
right. Then, okay. Here, this is the time. Okay. Yeah.
You see, so this is the time to be nah. That's what people are arguing. I'm not arguing that. That is what people are arguing. If I'm giving my personal opinion, I don't disagree with that logic. If it grows though, and he continues to lose delegates, then it gets a little fishy. But
what happens? It just automatically goes to Trump?
No, they're up for grabs and you got to work for it. Or they could vote third party. That delegate could say, fuck you at the convention, I'm voting third party. We're not nominating you, and then it just goes into a tailspin. But I thought it was really important that this happened, especially within the short time frame that she did this. I'm curious to know what you think, because there's so many, like Whoopi Goldberg was very upset by it. Amanda Seales responded to Whoopi Goldberg saying Whoopi Goldberg needs to sit this one out, which I thought was really disrespectful. I don't agree with Whoopi Goldberg a lot, but that's an elder. She's been around and she does this. And I don't know if we need to be telling them to sit out, but I get it. What are your thoughts on this protest vote? Is it a good idea? Would you have done it? Is it appealing? What do you want to see happen?
I think what people want to see happen, I think the people are conflating politics and strategy in this long game with the dire situation that's happening of people are dying children are starving to death. This
Yes.
needs to end right now. This is not a game. This is not politics. This is not strategy. And by any means necessary, there needs to be some kind of monkey in the wrench. There needs to be something that disrupts and brings awareness to the way that this is not normal. The times we are in are not normal. What we're asking for is not strategy. It's immediate ceasefire, immediate acknowledgement of genocide, and immediate just stopping it and stop. So I think the ways in which people are trying to wield that and bring attention to that, I respect, because folks are trying to break the wheel and disrupt it. And I'm just saying the same words over, but that's my take on it.
Yeah, I think Chris Edwards is a writer for the Washington Post, and he said he really appreciates Rashida Tlaib, but he feels like she got this one wrong. And the rationale for him is that he's looking at it as a lesser of two evils kind of thing. Because he's saying, like, yes, we understand that Biden has not been tough enough with Israel and Netanyahu, right? Not Israel, the Israeli government and Netanyahu. But then he's also like, well, Trump is someone who passed a Muslim ban, who has mass imprisonments of undocumented immigrants, who promised to be a dictator on day one, who will not do better than Joe Biden. So how can you be uncommitted when you know what the other side is? Obviously, that's all we've been talking about. I see both sides. I want to give both sides to the listeners. What I will say again and reiterate is and maybe there's someone who can explain to me, explain to us why the uncommitted vote is so awful. I think it did signal to Biden. Again, Biden only won the last presidency by like 40,000 votes across key battle states. It was not a victory that was a landslide victory. And so every poll right now has Donald Trump winning. These numbers from Super Tuesday has Donald Trump winning. The people that were voting for Nikki Haley, no one believes is a part of Donald Trump's camp. The people voting for Nikki Haley most likely are those independent, kind of liberal-leaning folks that voted for Joe Biden, but they vote either way. And so it's not Trump's base that's leaving Trump. So Joe needs those votes to come back to him. And Trump's base is solid. Trump's approval rating has not changed in 5 years, or his disapproval rating. It stayed steady. His base is his base, and his base sadly is enough to win. And so then you have Joe Biden's approval rating, which is in the it's in the ground. Like, I don't think any Democratic incumbent president has had such low approval ratings. And you have black pastors in Georgia saying like, hey, we know that you need our votes. We know that you need us to rally. You have to give us something, because we can't justify this war. We can't justify your support of Israel. Make it make sense. This war, his health, the questions around his health and his age and his vitality, the economy, how the economy feels, even though unemployment rates are way down, inflation is up globally. So that's making people's dollars not stretch as far. They felt better under Trump, which is wild. So there's a lot up at risk for Joe Biden right now. And honestly, all of my research, everyone is saying where it stands now, if we voted tomorrow, he loses. And that's terrifying. And so now you have Joe Biden, and we're missing it. It's March 7th. I'm very upset. He's doing the State of the Union address. Could be his last one if he's not the president, right? This is a huge State of the Union address. And he's announcing during that State of the Union address that the U.S. is planning on building a pier now in the sea to allow aid into Gaza. They have not figured out a way to get this done, right? They were airdropping stuff, but here's the deal. Airdropping stuff is the most ineffective, costly way to deliver any kind of aid. You're also delivering aid and you're also delivering missiles. So make it make sense, Joe. And this is the thing that he's going to have to deal with, is that he is in bed with Netanyahu. He needs Netanyahu's support in order to not get trampled over, basically, in the Middle East, and to keep his interests intact. He also needs to manage how the Democratic base is going to vote around the genocide of the Palestinian people. And so now he's trying to do both things, where he deliver aid to the Palestinian people while also helping the Israeli government take out, quote unquote, Hamas. Now, he wanted to be able to announce today that there was a ceasefire. Kamala called for a ceasefire. People laughed and scoffed at that because it was only 6 weeks. Humanitarian aid and the release of Israeli prisoners. All that went kaput today. Hamas left that deal saying, no, they didn't get what they wanted. And so here we are. And this is how geopolitics absolutely informs what happens here at home. And so now we have people who are disenchanted, and rightfully so, with Joe Biden and his entire staff on how this is being handled and managed. But we have literally the fucking orange monster lurking in the wings, just eager to make it worse. The criminal who can't pay his fucking his court, what do they call? Anyway, I can't get started on this. But I don't know if the uncommitted vote is a terrible thing. I wouldn't be against doing it. Not right now. Maybe there's somebody who can explain it to me, but not right now. I don't think the 100,000 is enough to really make it so that Joe Biden doesn't get the nomination. Mm-hmm. But it is a signal to him, and one that I'm hoping he hears.
And so that uncommitted was also available in lots of other states. You don't know what the results were of that. That's not showing.
No, the one that was the most, no, I don't know the numbers right away off the top of my head. Michigan was the one that was like booming. And that was the most organized one. And it's interesting how a lot of people are saying they thought it would be worse in Michigan, because Ann Arbor is a very college town. And this is not just Muslim. There's a lot of Muslim Americans in Michigan, but this is not just a Muslim American thing. This is Black, brown people. This is young people. These are educated people who understand what's going on, and they tend to rally around this type of cause. But college town people don't usually vote in primary elections. So it could be far worse. The amount of people that are disenchanted and furious with Joe Biden. And he cannot afford to lose any of these people because he only won by 100 and some thousand. All right. Moving right along. I have to talk about this because how can I not? New York. New York is in the headlines. New York is in the headlines, and I'll try to make this fast. New York, quote unquote, is experiencing significant violence on the subways. This comes at a time where the city seems to be doing everything they can to dissuade people from driving and create more revenue for the MTA, which is critical to the city rebounding financially from COVID. They've already instituted a peak congestion fee that if you drive into Manhattan between the hours of 5 a.m. and 9 p.m., on weekdays and 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. on weekends, you will have to pay $15. Period, point blank. Can't get out of it. Okay. They are now deploying the National Guard and more state police to patrol subways. Governor Kathy Hochul has announced this. There will be 750 members of the National Guard and 250 members of the police. I have that written wrong there. To the transit system. Eric Adams, who was a transit cop, I know a lot of people probably thought that he was like a big time, I don't know, detective or lieutenant or some shit. No, he was a transit fucking cop. He already has hired 1,000 more officers. These are our liberals, everyone. And in February, there was a 45% spike in major crimes. But this is weird because he just tweeted today that the city is experiencing lower crimes in every area, including the subway.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about? I will say 3 homicides have taken place in January. There's been several brutal assaults, including a slashing of a conductor. But for the most part, what's happening on the subways is homeless, unhoused folks are sleeping. Unhoused folks might be yelling, or mentally ill folks are yelling, and some grand larcenies, people stealing people's shit. You got your phone out, somebody might grab your shit and run. Grand larceny is, theft without
New York
use of
in the
force.
80s coming back.
But here's the deal. From my research indicates that all of the actual stats for these are lower than the 80s and the 90s.
What's going on? Why?
Exactly. This is all part of the Ms. Hochul, the governor's 5-point plan. It's interesting because I keep saying Hochul, but it's Hochul.
That's interesting because I keep saying. I'm gonna start saying that. That's interesting because I keep saying.
I don't know why. Because when people say it, they say Hochul. I thought.
Well, maybe it's Hochul.
I hear his bitch's name all the time.
His name.
No, it's Hochul, but we just not saying it right. Anyway, so this is part of her plan to provide $20 million to pay. This is good for 10 teams of mental health workers who will help people throughout the subway. Now, I don't get on the subway often. I have seen these people on the subway reaching out to unhoused people, asking them all kinds of questions, trying to get them into certain facilities, yada, yada, yada. I'm hoping that they're actually helping them and not just ridding the subway of them. Who the fuck knows? But something that's very concerning is that these members of the National Guard are given the okay to search bags and to check IDs. There's also a push for a new law that allows judges to ban people from riding the subway ever again. People who have certain criminal history and people who are accused of assault or found guilty of assault on the subway. So if you get into a fight on the sub, then you can't ride the train anymore. And
what, in a police state?
You take it. What are your thoughts, Shanti?
That's all I had to say. What in a police state? What in the unwarranted police state?
They already started.
What operations set up are they trying to get us prepared for and ready for? Who knows? I don't know.
So someone asked Kathy.
You gotta get out of New York.
I might have to. Someone asked
You
Kathy.
might actually, and I have to get out of. It ain't no better over here. We have actually law.
That's what I'm saying. Where are we going?
Completely lawless over here, and there's no type of.
Listen, someone asked Kathy Hochul, turn me up in your headphones because you can't hear me talking. They said, what if the New Yorkers don't want their bags checked by the National Guard? She said, then go home. You're not taking the subway. I need people to understand that most people in New York City, and it's not just the subway, this applies to buses as well, they don't have cars. This is literally a lifeline. You can't get anywhere without getting on the subway. So you also, and now they're instituting this fee So even this is going to be included in Ubers. So Ubers, they don't have to pay $15, but there is a surcharge that we will now have to pay for the Ubers having to take us into the city because we can't drive our personal vehicles without paying a fee. So here's the cyclical thing here. Person gets accused of crime, misses court date due to being banned from transportation, warrant issued, bail set. I just see this, and I could be in the dumps. I see this as a way for them to make their money one way or another. You're either going to ride the train. You're forcing us to ride the train, and then you're telling us that certain people can't ride the train based off their criminal history or some shit that might go down on the sub. And then what? How do they get to their parole officer? How do they get to court? How do they get to, like, how do they get to hear? Like, what are we even talking about right now?
And the intervention and the prevention. It just sounds
There's no
like
prevention.
Exclusion.
It's just
You
exclusion.
crazy?
It's just punish. It's just
Yeah.
police. Throw police at it. Why are we not realizing that grand larceny, people are in need of something? Rent has never been higher. Things have never costed more. I mean, people are not getting paid real living wages. People are desperate. So why don't we address that? And all you do is raise the fucking toll. You raise the fee for MTA every fucking second. They about to do it again. These trains ain't all that.
Tricky.
Anyway, I'm gonna have my girl on. Oleo Lauren. She is everything to me. I'm obsessed with her. If you're not following her, you should be. Let me go to her page right now.
Lauren?
Miss O'Laurin on Instagrams, MSOLURIN. She already said she would come on. She is so hip to all of this game. I just can't get enough of her. If you're interested in more of this, please check her out. But she will be on the podcast soon. I think we're going to be talking about prison reform and also bail reform when she comes on. So very excited about that. Some things we can't get into because we got to get into pop culture. The Republican-led Kentucky Senate voted overwhelmingly on Tuesday to grant the right to collect child support for fetuses, advancing a bill that garnered bipartisan support despite nationwide fallout from the controversial Alabama decision. So this is what we have to understand. That goes down in Alabama, and now all the other places follow suit. Now, I saw this on Spiritual World on Instagram, and all the women were like, exactly, because this shit costs money. Hello. And I get it. When you are pregnant, you do need support. You do need help with preparation. Absolutely. But you have to understand what can of worms that opens. If you are saying that the fetus is now a human, you are playing into the hands of the folks who want to take away your reproductive rights because you cannot kill a human being. That's how they're going to look at it. So they're also going to go after IVS. So fetal personhood is coming, y'all. Ghana delays action on a draconian anti-LGBTQ bill after a court challenge and economic warning. I think they're only doing this because of money. Ghana's president has said that he will delay his consideration of an anti-LGBTQ plus bill passed by Parliament last week amid a legal challenge and warnings it could lead to the country losing billions in funding. We can't get into it. I wish we could, but they passed an awful bill saying that basically you could be imprisoned if you are gay.
And also enticing people to snitch on their neighbors and friends and things. Incentivized.
So very upsetting. I think that they're worried about their money and how much tourism has come their way, how the NBA is expanding, the NFL just had something over there, and people are going to want them to pull that kind of stuff. France becomes the world's first country to enshrine abortion rights in the Constitution. So shout out to France. We got to look into that. Supreme Court ruled on Monday that the states may not bar former President Donald J. Trump from running for another term based off of inciting an insurrection. That we knew was going to happen. We're waiting to see if he has that immunity. That's the big one. And we already talked about Biden. Please watch the State of the Union. Please go to YouTube, watch it. Feel free to criticize whatever party, but we have to stand for him. Please, 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 please. That's it. Pop culture. Take it away, Sheila.
Michelle from Destiny's Child goes viral in a recent Uber commercial in which she is, what's the word? Riffing off of the underlying, I'm just saying words again. You know how everybody say Michelle is, the underdog of the group, and that she don't get the attention that she needs. She's the least important of the Destiny's Child. And so the whole commercial is her constantly, nobody knows who Michelle is, and it was really cute. She looked cute in it. But what was so great, and I hope it touched her heart, was that the Black community responded with nothing but love for Michelle, just bringing out all the receipts about how she's the bridge queen and that we love her and that we know her. And I hope that warmed her heart. And I love the courage that it probably took for her to do that, because that could be a really painful, part of her identity as well, like being the least important of one of the most iconic groups of everybody making fun of her. Like nobody wants to be the Michelle of the group, but her holding
but
that.
Also, if you get ahead of it, then
I like that she
they can't hurt you.
Yeah, I like that she did that, and I hope she feels good about the love that she receives. And
I didn't even see that.
You didn't? Oh, it's so cute.
No, I'm too busy in politics world sad.
It's cute. It's really, really cute. Gerard Carmichael, everybody's favorite gay comedian since his release of the 2022 Rothaniel, which we talked about on our podcast when it came out. I'm really surprised by this, to be completely honest. But he's about to release a docu-series on HBO, which means it must be good and well made. HBO Max. It's airing March 29th. And here's a little descriptor here. Gerard Carmichael invites the cameras into his home for an upfront, personal, and candid, unscripted series. The 8-episode series, called Gerard Carmichael Reality Show, reveals the multi-talented actor, comedian, and filmmaker's evolving relationship with his parents as they try to come to terms with his sexuality. The show is described by the producers as a darkly funny documentary series about Gerard's tumultuous quest for love, sex, and truth. And so, you got your thing ready for this?
Do you want me to play it?
Yeah, he shared a clip on Instagram, which is a little teaser for the docuseries, and I was shocked by it. All right, ready? Can you write down the time? Hold on, it's not connected anymore. This was my hot shit. I was like, where did she put this? All right, ready?
I've been just trying to maintain being truthful on camera.
This is not truth. This is narrative that will be edited, but there will be choices. That's not truth.
I'm trying to self-Truman show myself.
There's public and private, and then there's masturbatorily public. We might need one more layer, actually. I'm revealing too much.
Being honest is cool until you have a reason to lie. I always wanted my father to be proud of me.
What do you do?
I'll start the clip here.
I'm a good driver. I'm just not like a good turner.
Well, I have a boyfriend now. When that came out, I reacted like someone died. It hurt my feelings. Mom basically said I was going to hell.
I didn't write the Bible. I don't think anybody's being hard on you. I think people are calling you to do better.
And Lord, I come to you, Gerard and I, take the desire from my son to be with a male. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I love you.
Okay.
This has to be discussed on camera.
Yes, I bring in cameras, and yes, that's my way. And yes, I'm afraid to have these conversations without them. Let's just blow this shit wide open.
Sorry. Go ahead.
There's something that you edited out of that clip, but there is a fully masked voice is
Banksy.
Huh?
That's Banksy.
The artist?
Yeah.
How you know?
Because he's in other documentaries like that.
Interesting.
The fact that we're having this stand, I'm pretty sure that's Banksy. That's how he shows up in other documentaries. And nobody knows who he is.
Oh,
Mhm.
interesting. Banksy, or who knows, the man, the person that shall not be named or seen, alludes to the fact that like this quest for truth, or this quest for like being public and revealing, Gerard navigating these really hard things with his family and friends and his lover. As much as we want to act like it's authentic and real, it is edited, and there is a narrative and there is a bias, of course, that, or a story that is trying to be shared. And I just feel like it's really, I think it'll be well done because it's Gerard, and I have faith in his ability, and I have a faith in his deep curiosity that I think he holds, and like his there's something that I think that's in him that won't corrode that in the way that could possibly happen with him being being behind it, which I assume he is, which maybe is inevitable though. I don't know. This is actually going to be interesting for our topic next week. Does he need to do this? Do we need to see this?
I don't think that's up to us to answer. I have a completely different take on this than you.
What's my take? What is my take?
I'm not. I think he absolutely does. I think based off of
does what
he said it. He said, "Yeah, this is how I express myself. Yeah, I'm scared to have these conversations without the camera on." He's saying he needs it. And, you know, I looked at this, I was really upset. This really upset me.
What
and I was
upset
just
you?
like, yo, well, one, I've been to, how do I talk about, my stepsister was gay. And I don't think that was represented completely in her life. And I think that there were people who wanted the best for her, who loved her to the extent that they could, but could not see her. They probably had the same, or would have had the same conversations had they seen her enough, or she put it in their face enough that she was gay. It was evident to me by some things at the funeral that left me disheartened. And most of the people around her who spoke up at the funeral said that she was the person that made them feel seen and comfortable for who they are. And everybody could, if you were self-aware, you could read between those lines and understand what they were saying.
So this mirror is necessary.
I think that is
Yeah.
absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
I don't know if people will hear it, but I think it could bring comfort to
Yeah.
people
That are in the
like
same
her.
situation.
I have people in my
Yeah.
family who, you know, or people just in my life who are not seen
Yeah.
because of their sexuality.
Mhm.
And I think that this Christian God is the way that we've like contorted God is punitive, is hateful, and is a dictator. And I think that because we are following this kind of teaching and confusing that for love and for God, our world is now reflecting that. A punitive world, a hateful world, a dictatorship. And I think Gerard is wildly brave for this. I think that we don't get to say what he needs to do. If it's not for us, if we think that it's publicly, if he's doing this publicly just for attention, I forget the words that I think Banksy used.
Or
Banksy
bias
used
that
like,
it's not completely authentic.
he
and
said
real.
something that it's like almost like I don't know, like where you're like masturbating, like that it's so in your face. It's like, all right, that's more Kardashian. That's more like where you're exploiting yourself just for the sake of being seen.
Well, like
I
you're
don't see that.
exploiting it and saying you're not really revealing yourself. Like the Kardashians are so frustrating because it's performative. You're not really revealing yourself. Whereas,
I think that Gerard will reveal himself.
Yeah.
And even in that small clip, he's revealing his mom sat there and prayed with him and said, please take this thing away from my son so he can stop wanting to lay with men. And they're telling him that he's going to go to hell. You're being asked to do better. He's not. And then she says, amen, looks up and smiles at him.
Says,
I love you. And he goes, okay, what? That is not love. You can't love me if you can't see me. And so that is also something that I think was affecting me, if I'm being honest, because I came home and attempted to write exactly what my wishes are if I passed away tomorrow. I have written down who I want speaking. I need to send it to y'all, but it's not done. Who I want to write my obituary, my eulogy, my obituary, all the things. Where the money is, what the bank account, all that shit. Because I don't want to be misrepresented and unseen in who I am. And it's so disheartening when you see that. And Gerard is saying, you have to see me. And if not, then other people will. And if y'all not being seen, here's something for you to relate to. I see you.
I totally agree with you. But then there is this area of, I can say it from the mountain, I can reveal who I am, but there is this projection thing, there is this duality thing where people are only able to see you from which place they understand themselves and understand reality and understand truth and understand love and understand what's right and what's wrong. And no matter what you do or who you think you are, how clear you claim, and that's not to discredit Gerard, but there's this other thing that you can't, I cannot affect that. That's that person's thing. In the same way, it's your responsibility. You know, how you see me, I just cannot do anything about it, which I think also is a frustrating, humbling, yet raw thing that he's revealing in this documentary as well, which I think is mad important. I'm excited for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's the artist. I think that's the hard part about being an artist, is if you put the art out and then you have to leave it. As long as when you put yourself into it and it represents you, after that, once it's out in the world, That's it.
hits and who it activates.
And who it doesn't.
Amen.
Yeah, I thought
I'm
it was
excited
interesting. I tweeted about it, and I was so shocked that someone was like, "He's kissing another white man's toes. It's a no for me." Then just don't fucking watch it.
And then it's a white person on top of it. Actually, this is so interesting.
So what?
And he talks about
don't watch it then.
He talks about it.
I don't know. I'm sensitive right now. That's a great segue.
Lupita and Joshua Jackson are together. Our girl Lupita, Joshua from Dawson's Creek, you know.
So many other things besides Dawson's
what
Creek.
What else was he in, child?
It's hilarious that is what we know.
What else?
That's all
anyway,
we acknowledge. Let me go. I'm gonna look it up. Hold on, Josh.
The way Dawson's Creek had been a chokehold, baby girl.
Listen, Pacey, right? Wasn't his name Pacey?
I don't know.
How it had us in a chokehold, we don't even know this man's name.
I watched it a couple times.
He was in a bunch of stuff that I don't know if it mattered as much. He did a lot.
Either way, Joshua just broke up from Jodie Turner-Smith now, who was in Queen of Swim, the controversial movie.
You just said Queen and Swim. You've been doing a lot of that lately. I love it.
What's it called?
You think it's called Queen and Swim?
Slim.
That's another.
Queen and Slim.
You said Swim.
No, I
thought
didn't.
you said Swim. You did it? Oh, that would have been funny. I was like, yo, you crazy.
She was in that movie. She probably did a lot of other things as well, but I'm just reducing, and I apologize for being reductionist in this. But both couples, or both people, Lupita and Joshua, just got out of their relationships. We talked about Lupita and that text she made about Salima Masakela. She had a lot to say about him, child. She was not playing.
Hashtag healing. Is that what she wrote?
I don't know. Hashtag fuck these niggas, basically what she said. But she's on to Joshua, and I wish them the best. They're very affectionate.
That's her birthday. It was her birthday celebration. Yeah. Wow. A little pretty seal.
You know who else is a Pisces, and it makes a lot of sense to me?
Wait, finish the story.
Hold on, I gotta say this now. Not Freeway. What's the other nigga name? Freeway and
Beanie.
Beanie Siegels is a Pisces, which is makes so
feel it in the air. Very heartfelt.
Much sense to me.
Emo.
Yeah, he's so emo in like a dark way. You know what I mean? Like Pisces can be very emo and lovey-dovey, or Pisces can be very like dark. But anyway, they together. I support it. They look happy.
Why do you support it?
Because they look happy.
Because you don't support see, you are a tricky white black girl.
Why?
You are. Because you don't support Jonathan Majors when he was dealing with his white woman.
We already talked about this. It's on the See the Thing Is podcast. We already know. It is tricky over here.
But wait, why do you support it?
I just don't. I just do. I don't know what to say. I just do. I just feel like black women being desired and taken care of and exalted and loved up on is a kink for me. So whether it's a white man or a black man doing it, I'm kind of like cool. Because it's not very often that we see it. Especially a darker skinned black woman on top of it. Which is tricky and problematic. And I invite all of you guys to lovingly help me untangle that.
To call you in. They're going to agree with you. You get it?
If you don't, then if you got things to say, and people do, I don't know. Listen, this is where I'm at. I need help with that. But shout out to them. How you feel about it? You hating on the low?
No, I'm interested. I want to know what Joshua Jackson's dating history is.
Jodie Turner-Smith, bad bitches.
I know, but who else? Because I'm like, Josh,
you got to type.
You're not fetishizing, right, Josh?
Girl, you like a milk dud. So,
do I have a milk dud right now?
Kind of, yes.
No, I don't.
You wouldn't describe it as a milk dud?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not even close. What do
I'm
you
not even
consider a
unpack
milk
it with
dud?
you. I don't know. What do you consider a milk dud?
I thought it was like bald and a beard. No?
It's a certain skin tone, definitely. You like a certain skin tone. I just picked my nose in front of Patreon, and I apologize to everyone.
I don't know. I think I'm question. You know me. I would question white people before I question black people. So I'm questioning Josh. But if they look happy.
Didn't Lupita date a white guy before this? Who was she with?
Let's look up Lupita's dating history.
Really
Why not?
tried. Salima really fucked it up. Masa Kayla.
Salima is annoying. He had one job and he couldn't do
He had
it
one job. Because listen, he ain't even all that to be acting like that.
at all.
He got
Tried
the
it.
family history, though. He's a culturally artsy nigga, like.
I don't see. Oh, I don't see anybody.
Who was
She
she
has
with
a.
before? She was with the Kenyan guy. She was with the guy, and then they go back, and then Somalian guy. He was from Somalia. He's a rap artist.
know.
She was with him. She broke his heart. Actually, she was like, "Actually, it's giving desperate. I'm not interested." Anyway, do we need to go into this or not? Are we done?
You are so annoying. These. Why do you do that?
What?
Why do you do that? This was very heavy on the politics, and I was really relying on you to have the juicy pop culture to get us going. And you
Oprah
didn't.
parts ways with Weight Watchers. Oprah is
It's
strictly.
a slow news cycle,
Let me tell you
guys.
something now. It's the,
Why are
it's
we
the
talking about
time of
this?
Aquarius, and all truths are being revealed. Whether you want to see
Oh,
it or
God.
not, you gonna find out who the fuck you with and who they with, whether you want to or not, whether it's politics or pop culture. Oprah parts ways with Weight Watchers and gives her stakes to charity after admitting she uses weight loss pills such as Ozempic and Wegovy.
Wagovi.
This is what she said. She said, "I look forward to continuing to advise and collaborate with Weight Watchers and elevating
is
the
your Oprah voice?
conversation around recognizing obesity as a chronic condition, working to reduce stigma, and advocating for health equality. But also, I look fucking good. I feel better than I ever felt my entire life. Fuck that. Fuck your conflict of interest. I'm over here with the Ozempic bays. Okay." She also went on to say, "I now use it as I feel I need it," referring to the weight loss pills, Ozempic and things. "I now
it's
use it
a
as I feel
shot.
I need it as a tool to manage, not yo-yoing. The fact that there's a medically approved prescription for managing weight and staying healthier in my lifetime feels like relief, like redemption, like a gift, and not something to hide behind and once again be ridiculed for. I'm absolutely done with shaming from other people and particularly myself," which I feel like are bars for Oprah and her decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually stand behind her. And I actually think it's tricky, but a thing of integrity to be like, y'all bitches can do whatever you want to do in terms of this whole weight loss thing. Portioning. I actually don't know what Weight Watchers does. Weight, measuring
Shanti,
measuring
what is
your
happening?
measuring your meals and doing whatever the fuck you do. But I ain't with all that. Ozempic is working for me. It's bringing me ease. It's bringing me comfort in my body. It's bringing me the results, numero uno.
It's also bringing you a lot of health risks.
But she said, "And I'm a billionaire, and I'll deal with that when I get there." But over the health risks, I mean, so does being overweight as well. So like, pick your heart, I guess. So she's choosing ease and comfort in her body, and I feel like experience in her body that feels like a gift to her. The fact that she said redemption and like a gift and not something to hide and be ridiculed for. I mean, listen, Oprah has been public about her weight loss journey for years. All her life, she's been talking about this and trying to manage it. And, you know, being though she's Oprah and it's all about spirituality and doing things through mindfulness and willpower and, you know, that way versus like, no, I'm gonna invite a little bit more ease into my life, and I'm gonna experience a body I've never had before and enjoy it at the risk of my health. I'm mad at her.
I don't know how to feel about this. I feel sad that it's even still a thing for so many of us. Just not feeling at home in your body. Because I think she's looked great even before the weight loss. But yeah, all of these drugs are, as another person we have to bring on. Jade keeps telling me about a Black woman that they've had on a doctor on Getting Grown that she wants to come on, who talks about all of these weight loss drugs and how they're wreaking havoc on the body. I just read about another one where the weight that you're losing is muscle mass, not fat. And so you're like atrophying your muscles, which is not good either, which is why a lot of people, if they don't work out, they can work out a lot on these and have a really hard time seeing building results, building muscle. They'll see weight loss, they'll see themselves get smaller, but they get flabbier. And that's why like that Ozempic face comes in too. But you know, if she feels good, if she likes it, I love it. Honestly, truly. I'm not even being smart, but it's just so sad that we have to, I wish we could just get, I don't know. I wish we could get to a place where she doesn't have to make a fucking announcement about this shit. And she honestly stepped down because she kind of got outed. Yeah, I think she told on herself a little bit about using the weight loss drugs. Even though she said in the past that she hasn't.
She didn't do that.
No, she lied about it initially. And then she got found out. I think she messed up her words in the interview. And this is the energy that you're getting now, where she's like, I'm not going to apologize about this. Like, yeah, I'm going to be at home in my body. But she initially denied it, which is sad that we're even doing that.
Well,
but it's helping so many people.
She said, let me handle my business real quick on the back end and I'll come back and do what I got to do. But y'all know I run Weight Watchers, right?
I'm sorry, I was getting distracted when you were talking about that because breaking news, the State of the Union started. I was wondering why it didn't start. It started a little bit late because there was a major protest in D.C. blocking the Biden motorcade from entering the State of the Union address at the Capitol, with a bunch of people holding up, ceasefire now stuff and holding hands in the middle of the street. But I'm looking at the tweets and people seem to be impressed with what he's coming out very aggressive because he needs to appear to have vitality to him. Lord. Anyhow, thank you for this.
Thank you all for joining us again on this Monday, and we look forward to returning on Thursday. So, bye-bye.
Oh, aren't we supposed to say peace to the gods?
We don't have to. We don't have to do nothing.
I like that.
You can
but I like
lay it up then. Go ahead. But don't feel like you got to do nothing.
Peace to the gods.
The old and the new.
Bye.